Okay, Tony, we're on.
Okay, we're on. Okay, I just want to a little introduction saying that all there is this. This is boundless energy. This is nothing apparently happening. That's all there is. That boundless energy is completely free. Nothing influences it. There's no God out there, consciousness, all that stuff. Boundless energy just is what it is without any direction or meaning or purpose. And in that boundless energy, anything can happen. It's wild and crazy and also ordered and apparently logical as well. So there is just that. And within that boundless energy, because it's free, that boundless energy can also be contracted. It can appear to be contracted. That's what also happens. In that boundless energy is everything and nothing. Everything and nothing that's happening right now, you, the room, me talking, is boundless energy in that form. It takes that form. It can also take the form of contracted energy. And that has always been like that ever since the beginning of time, although there is no such thing as time. But that contracted energy seems to arise, and it can happen anywhere at any time for no reason at all, because there's no reason or meaning or purpose to any of this. It's completely without purpose. But when the human being is born, when you are born as a tiny child, that contracted energy has a unique energy for you or influence for you. There is uniquely, as against anything else, a sense of something happening in the body, which brings a sense of there being someone there or something in the body. So the tiny child suddenly senses something in the body and becomes aware, becomes self-conscious, becomes self-aware, and then arises an apparent individual. And as the child grows up, so more and more it feels it is an individual, a separate individual. And it meets lots of other people who also feel they are separate individuals. So this is what I call the dualistic dream. So humankind, when it came on the earth, began the dualistic dream. It was never there before. Animals didn't feel that they were people or that they were separate. They just were animals being animals. But the individual uniquely felt and feels as though it is a separate individual. And it grows up, and as I say, it meets lots of other people who feel that they are separate, and it grows up in that, what I call dualistic dream. And in that dualistic dream, it sees that it has to try and make its life successful in some way or other, and it tries to do that in all sorts of different ways. And as it grows, as it gets older, and things take form for it, it also begins to feel that in some way or other some people feel, some individuals feel, that in some way or other, being a separate individual, there's something dissatisfying about that. And so people start to wonder why they feel separate. And that's when seeking in that way begins. But that seeking can take any form. The individual wants to experience good things about its life, so it seeks pleasurable things and avoids pain. But at another level, it feels that even that sort of energy to try and collect pleasure and avoid pain isn't satisfactory. So it looks deeper at the reason why it feels separate and unfulfilled. So it looks for fulfillment, really. It tries to look for fulfillment. And one of the ways it does that is to look at religion or therapy or whatever is there, offering it some sort of self-fulfillment. And there's lots of that sort of thing available at the moment all over the place. And so it indulges in all sorts of exercises or whatever it can to try and find satisfaction. But there's one big problem, and that is it lives in the dualistic world. And so it lives in a subject-object experience. It's the subject and everything else is the object. So it makes self-fulfillment an object that it can find, a something that it can find. And it looks in its dualistic world for that sort of whatever is the answer to what it can find. And so that's why in the seeking world, there are so many questions and answers going on. The whole time, the seeker is wanting to know what the answer is to its dissatisfaction. And it can never know, because what it is looking for is a something that will satisfy it. And it can never be satisfied, because what it really longs for is the end of its seeking energy and the end of the separate feeling of separation and the coming together in oneness, in wholeness. But it can never do that because it objectifies the oneness and wholeness and tries to find it as a thing. So what we're doing here is we are sharing questions and answers. They go on, but actually they are a vehicle for something else to happen, because everything I've described is actually energetic. The contracted feeling is boundlessness arising as a contracted feeling. The dissatisfaction is another energy that arises. The need to end seeking is another energy. So all of this is simply energy arising in different forms. As we talk together, as we share these questions and answers, they really are a vehicle for something else to happen that's energetic, that can't be named. It's beyond recognition. It's beyond knowing. It can't be obtained. It simply is already everything that is. So wherever you are right now, whatever you feel, whatever's happening, whatever is what you long for. But the problem is that you think you can find what you long for. You don't need to find what you long for because everything is already complete. So, is there a question?
Okay, so William Kinnear, could you unmute yourself and ask your question? Thank
Hi,
you.
Tony.
Hello.
I'm terrified by what you're saying.
Right. Good.
It's like what I've seen you saying in videos where the person longs for this and fears it the most, and I'm in an absolute state of panic. But I'm desperate for that freedom that I feel you've got, and I know
I haven't got it. It is. Nobody has that freedom. That freedom is. It's all there is. You're looking at it. You're sitting on it. You're breathing it. It's already there, but nobody has it. All the time, you think you can find it, or I've got it, then you're going on looking for something which is already everything.
So it's impossible for the separate individual to know or experience the freedom.
It can't be known. It is unknowable. So anything that the separate individual does is completely and utterly futile. But all the time, the separate individual is talking and sharing this, then somewhere there's something else happening that's energetic.
So when I hear you say that, I think, well, this must help me then to die.
Well, it doesn't help. Yeah, but if you want help to die, then that's another futile idea. Dying simply naturally happens. It doesn't need any help from anybody.
And I think one of the obstacles I find when I engage with this communication is I feel like I need to believe it in order for it to happen, and I can't believe that the separation could end and not come back. No,
this freedom, this dropping away of you, and the sudden realization or the sudden recognition that there's only freedom has got nothing to do with what you are doing, what you are thinking, and what you know. It's got nothing to do with you. This is about the end of the you that thinks they have to find something or know something.
It's beautiful. I'm scared, but I could cry. It's gorgeous what you're sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's everything. Thank you.
All right, you can come back if you want to.
I probably will.
Good.
Okay, Nasco, could you unmute yourself, please, and ask your question. Nasco.
Hello, Tony.
Hello.
So the me, it is always seeking.
Hmm.
And it's not that the me is some entity that is separate from seeking and that it's producing seeking. The me
No,
is the seeking itself.
seeking is what's happening.
Yes,
There isn't anything doing it. There's just seeking happening.
yes, it's just seeking. It's the seeking that it's the me. It's not that there is a me separate from seeking. It's the seeking that creates this illusion of a me.
Yeah.
That's the way how I feel. So at first it seeks material objects and relationships and stuff like that. And in the glimpse, there is no seeking.
No, there's no one. In the glimpse, there's no one. There just is
Yes,
everything.
there is
and
no
nothing.
seeking. And there is no seeking. There is no one, there is no seeking. And
No.
then the seeking comes back after the
Yeah.
glimpse.
Hmm.
And now it's in a hopeless situation in a sense because it seeks this, well, it's not a state, but it seeks the state of no seeking. The
Yes,
seeking,
absolutely. Yeah.
the seeking, yes,
Yeah,
it's a hopeless situation, but
yes,
it
it
seems,
is.
yes, it's a hopeless situation, and with time, well, time doesn't exist, but when there is seeking, it appears as if though time is real. And with
Hmm.
time, it seems that the seeking gets thinner and weaker because it's facing this hopeless situation again and again and again. It's like I am seeking, no seeking. It's impossible.
Hmm. But it can also strengthen seeking as well. There's no formula. It doesn't mean the more you seek, then the possibility is one day it will end. It is that the more you seek, the more you seek. The more questions you ask, more questions arise. Because the whole idea that you can find something feeds the whole question answer energy.
Yes, maybe that's possible. I'm just describing my situation. It's not my situation, but the situation that's happening here. It seems like kind of this hopeless situation is accepted more and more, although
For you,
there is
you.
nothing that's accepting it. It's
No,
just,
you're not. For me, never accepts. It always goes on and on, demanding an answer.
yes,
And
it seems like it has an inbuilt self-protection mechanism to continue going.
well,
And
self-protection and avoidance, because
yes, avoidance. Yes,
it knows the most effective way to stop liberation is to seek it.
yes, yes. There's also this realization that seeking, no seeking is also another form of seeking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeking,
Yeah.
the end of seeking is another form of seeking. It's like if the me wants to stop being, to disappear as a me, to be no me, it's just more me.
Yeah,
It's just more
absolutely.
seeking.
Yeah.
It really is an impossible situation because it has this self-protection mechanism to continue
Yeah.
going, but at the same time, after the glimpse, he wants to stop going. So he
Yeah.
wants to continue and he wants to stop at the same time.
Yeah.
It's really a hopeless situation for me.
Mm.
Yes. This is just something I want to share, not that I have a question really. So
No,
thank
that's
you very,
okay. We hear you.
thank you very much for doing this,
Thank
Tony.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Andy P. Andy P.
Hello, Tony. This is Andy Pierce. Can you hear me?
Hello, Andy.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm new to this message, and so I haven't read your books, but I have seen a few videos. And
Right.
as William said, there's something strangely beautiful about this message, but I don't quite know what it is. The question I have is, in one of your videos, you said that there is your answers, when you answer a question in one of these meetings, seems to come from nothing and it's immediate.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no one here.
There's no one
There's
there.
no one here.
Yes.
So there's nobody answering. So there's no mind or knowledge getting in the way of the answer. When the question's asked, there's an immediate response. This is just response here. What's sitting here its response from nothing.
Yes. Yes. Well, what you said, an interesting thing there, because that was my question really. Is the mind just getting in the way? In other words, would it have been possible when in duality to have heard this voice and been able to express it if the mind hadn't got in the way?
Well, no, the mind, the brain is part of the mechanism. It's part of the mechanism of what you are. And if there's an energy of seeking, then there's an energy of asking. And obviously the mind, or you can call it the mind or the brain, will go on and on asking questions because it believes that it can find an answer. That's the whole madness of seeking. That it goes, and you and I could spend the next 100 years, right, sitting and eating corned beef sandwiches all day and night, and asking questions all day for 100 years. And at the end of the 100 years, we'd still be asking questions because we are trying to get somewhere. There isn't anywhere to get. This already is it. You're sitting in it. It is all there is. Sitting on a chair, hearing a voice is what you long for. It's the beloved. There's only the beloved already. So actually, really, there are no questions to ask at all. But as I said at the beginning, in talking about this, it's a vehicle for something energetic to happen. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Because it seems to happen. I know quite a lot of people who went on asking questions for a long time, and some people that didn't. Even somebody who walked into a retreat in Wales at the beginning of the 4-day meeting, sat at the back before the beginning of the meeting and died. It was all over. Nothing was said at all. So anything can happen. This is about anything happening, and it's not about answering questions, although there's nothing wrong with asking questions and answering them. It's a vehicle for something else.
And when you look around the room and you open your eyes, Tony, do you feel that the experience of what you see is what you could have seen when you were in duality, or has it changed? Is it completely new?
Funny that. But Claire and I were talking about this morning. Now, first of all, there is no one here.
Mm-hmm.
All there is nothing apparently happening. There's no one here. All there is nothing apparently happening. And that's there as well. Whoever's watching this, they may believe that they're real people watching an event, but actually all there is no thing happening. And Claire and I were talking about this morning. And I find it interesting to feel that in some way or other, when I was a seeker sitting in a room, the experience that I had an experience because I was a seeker, I was a person living in experience, was somehow what it was. It was all right, there was nothing wrong with it, but it was there, and I was somehow separate to everything I experienced. And now, when they're sitting in a room happening, there's no experiencer of anything in the room. And everything in the room is completely free and boundless. And that's immeasurably different to the experience of the seeker. But in another way, I have to say, it's also about something very simple and ordinary. The windows, the carpet, the person, or whoever's there is totally and utterly ordinary and simple. It's as easy and completely free. There isn't anything projecting any ideas on the window or the chair or another person about how they should be or how I should be. There just is isness. There just is beingness. That's all there is. And it's not going anywhere. It has no reason to be. It's not going anywhere. It's not trying to get anywhere. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
A chair without purpose.
You've led us, or you've led me down a blind alley.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And there's a bit of rubbish around the place, and you're gleaming with joy. And I'm looking around and thinking, what's here?
Yeah.
But it's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next person is Anita Doulos. Would you like to unmute yourself and ask a question, Anita?
Thank you. Yeah, hi Tony. Thanks for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize your introduction. So your message, there is no one, and but what if when someone is sick?
Oh, well, then that's what's happening.
Then
All
is
there
that-
is what's happening. You've got someone who is aware that they're sick, or just the body being sick. That's the difference. All the time there's someone who's aware that they're sick, they take ownership of the sickness and make it their own. When no one, there's just being sick. Like a chair, being sick, the sky, a tree, a glass of water.
I don't understand. Yeah, being sick.
It's very simple. This is about the simplicity, the innocence of childlikeness.
Mhm. Yeah. So in nature, I recognize that, but in it's more like when someone in my surroundings is sick, sometimes mentally sick. Yeah, it's not. I don't have to share my compassion with him, or
No, not at all. No, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Oh,
anything. It just is what is, and whatever action the body takes, the body takes. Concern happens and caring happens, or it doesn't. Or it doesn't.
and that's also all right. Yeah,
It's what's happening.
yeah, that's yeah. Okay.
There's no longer living in the obligation of being me
and
having to fulfill a role.
Yeah,
It
this
just is what happens.
you can do everything.
Well, well, everything can happen.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've now got somebody called iPhone Kane.
Oh,
Kane,
Hello, Tony.
hello, iPhone.
With the vaccine coming in from the
Sorry?
NHS, with the vaccine
Oh,
coming
yeah.
in from the NHS, are the meetings at Hampstead going to be coming up at the start of next year?
Yes, probably. Well, sometime in that year, we have in mind that there'll be meetings, yes.
Yeah. And is the retreat in February still
No,
going to go ahead, you know?
we don't think the one in February will happen. I think people aren't yet allowed to gather in groups.
Okay, Tony. Thank
We
you.
don't know that. We're not sure about that. Keep your eye on the website.
Okay, will do. Thank you, Tony.
Okay.
now William Kinnear has come back
Oh.
again, so perhaps you could ask your question, William. William, 'cause I just need to get you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. My video's been disabled. I can't put it back on.
Hang on, I'm just start.
That's all right. Yeah, I can hear your voice.
Okay.
There he is.
Our video's come back on. Tony, I am struggling with listening to this because I want to fight this message so much, but I want to die and accept it at the same time.
You can't do either. You can't do either. You can't do anything. There is no one. There's no one
That
wanting
makes
to.
no
kill this
sense to
message.
me at all.
No, absolutely. It's awful. This is the worst message there is for the seeker. Worst of all. There's
Because
nothing on it, nothing of any value on offer.
Because I feel like I need to accept this,
Oh,
but I
you
know
can
that
try.
I've been trying for a long time. It hasn't worked.
Who is going to accept it? Who? There's no one there. There's nothing to accept. All there is what is. All there is no thing apparently happening. That's very amazing. All there is no thing apparently happening.
So if the apparent individual, that's an illusion, but it feels real to the person, and it's like if it's just an experience of being in the body, there's something in the body that's me, what is it that experiences itself as being real?
Awareness. Awareness, self-awareness, self-consciousness is what happens in the dream. It maintains the dream of separation by being aware of somebody being in the body who is real. I am real, and I rise in that awareness, and I'm trying to live my life. And I'm also talking to Tony Parsons, who's telling me that my awareness of myself is completely illusory. How dare he? Well, he dares.
I want to hear it. I do want to hear it.
Well, you don't. You don't really want to hear it. You think you want to hear it because you think there's an answer somewhere in there. There isn't an answer in there. You don't want to hear that you're not real.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get the answer eventually.
Oh, there isn't one. It's this. Look, sitting on a seat, looking at this. It's all there is. It's this already. That is what you long for. This. It's amazing how many hours and years people have sat and asked questions and built churches and gone to war about this, only this. What is? Just what is this?
I've got one more question, which is, you were saying it to the person, Andy P, about how there was someone who walked into a residential in Wales, sat down and died.
Oh, yeah.
A word was even said. And then obviously for different people, it could be just like a slow fading out of the me over years.
The actual thing itself is timeless. It's not slow. It's the infinite. So there's somebody standing there and suddenly they die and there's the infinite wholeness.
And that's when there's a wow.
Wow. Maybe.
So
maybe
nothing at all that influences the... I was watching the wow interview. So there's nothing at all that influences the
There
end.
doesn't need to be, because already there is wholeness. There is only wholeness. There's nothing that needs to happen. Everything is wholeness.
And so nothing drives the appearance to change.
No, there's no intention. There's no agenda for that which already is everything. If that which is already everything, why would it need an intention to change or transform anything? It already is wholeness. You're looking at it. You are it. It's never gone away. You have to go and find it.
What I find hard to understand when you're saying that is things change.
Apparently, yeah.
Things apparently change.
Apparently, but that's all meaningless.
That's what I keep thinking, well, why do things change if they have no purpose or
They
intent?
only apparently change, and the change is completely and utterly meaningless.
So that includes the change of feeling separate and then not feeling
Absolutely. Nobody feels separate and doesn't feel separate. Nobody.
But that's just an apparent change that means nothing.
No.
To me, it would feel like it meant I got everything I wanted.
No, you never will get everything you want, because all there is everything you want already.
I'll never believe that, will I? Until I die.
No, you won't believe it. It's not about belief. It is the end of you. You die and there is everything. When you die, there's everything.
Right. I still think you know something I don't. I can't.
Well, how can I know anything if I am no thing? And I'm talking to no thing who thinks it ought to know something.
But I think the words you're saying are coming from somewhere.
They're coming from no thing. This is no thing. This is no thing saying this is no thing.
I'm trying to understand. I know I won't. So yeah.
No. Okay.
But thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now I've got a question, Tony. Sorry, William, I can't stop your video for some reason. Oh, there we are. Great, thank you. There's now a written question from Odell, and she wants me to read it out. She says, fundamentally, I know it's challenging to put this message into words, and describe something indescribable, but sometimes you use the word beyond, and it's a little confusing to me. Is there another word besides the word beyond? I know it may sound like a game of words, but if you can, I will thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the only reason that beyond is used here is that what's being suggested is it is beyond the seeking. What you long for is beyond the mind. It's beyond understanding. It's energetic. So that's the sense of the word is beyond, is pointing to that which is energetic and can't be known. It's beyond knowing.
Okay,
Oh, that was a written question.
that was a written question, yeah. Susan Hill, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so you could say awareness or no
Sorry.
appears as everything, right? It appears.
No, well, you could say it, but I wouldn't. You can say that if you want to, but I'm not. Awareness is a form of knowing which comes from the individual in the separate world. It's a wish to know. If you look up the diary, in the dictionary, you'll find that awareness and consciousness are just forms of knowing which only arise in the dream.
Mhm. So let's say no thing is appearing like this.
This is nothing. There's only no thing.
Right. So it's one because it's not like it appears. I mean, it is just what's
Everything,
like
everything and nothing. Yeah.
right, right. At the same time, yes. And so then what apparently appears in this everything is, is the knowing of feelings. For humans, at least, we have a knowing of all kind of feelings.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, just stop there.
Mhm.
All there is everything, and in everything arises a dualistic dream. Now, in the dualistic dream, there arises people who think they know the world. That's a dream. There isn't anything that's known. There isn't anyone that knows. It just is what is.
Right. And what there's just is what is, that apparently comes up as trees and mountains and feelings and thoughts and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Human,
For no one.
real.
For no one. Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually no one. But all that arises, and that's but there's no person there. But there's all this stuff that arises in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is nothing arising as everything. It's no thing arising as everything.
Right.
A tree is no thing treeing.
Right. Yes.
It doesn't need anyone for it to tree.
Exactly. Yes. And we all feel like there is some kind of existence here in this apparent world, right? But this existence is the nothing, and that's what we just have that in us, and we don't realize that who we are. But it's
we think we're something.
Gets to feel feelings, or I know it's not this person, body, mind feeling feelings, but the nothing gets to experience this whole world somehow.
No, it doesn't experience this whole world. Nothing is this whole world. Nothing is everything. It doesn't sit in somewhere and experience everything. It is everything. Nothing.
It is everything.
Is everything.
So you could say it's exploring itself or whatever.
No, it's not. You could say that if you want to. But I'm concerned that's another dream. It doesn't need to explore itself because it's already everything. Why would everything need to explore everything?
For fun, maybe, or just to enjoy.
Right. If you would like to believe that, that's a nice dream.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Let me know when you wake up.
Yeah. And but it's true, and it's ultimately nothing. It's just and I know it's the human mind who wants to maybe be and such, but
it's to know, wants to know. Yeah, the human mind wants to know. That's its problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Trying
But
to know nothing.
right, but it's also a natural thing for a human to always have feelings and think, and it's
Yeah.
just happening that happens, you
Yeah.
know.
It's
We
just
happen to be
nothing
humans.
happening. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, we're just humans, and that's what's happening.
There's nothing wrong with anything. There just is
Right.
what's happening.
Yeah. And it's actually, in a way, it's helpful if you can just be with it, what is as it arises, because then you're fully in it somehow. Like,
No,
you can
tell me who is going to
be
choose.
angry, you can, huh?
Who is it that's going to choose to be in it? And there's nothing
I
to
know.
be in because already there is everything.
Yeah.
You're still trying to work out a way of getting into this, and you won't because there's nothing to get into.
Yeah. There's nothing to get it. I'm just so curious about how it's all, you know, like making a puzzle or something, but you can, but you will never know the answer
Yeah,
anyway.
I know. I really hear you. I really hear you. It's fine. You'll
Yeah.
never know. You will never know.
Yeah.
Because what you long for is unknowable. What you long for is unknowing.
Yes, but actually, I don't even long for it because it's here. Well, how can I long for something that's already here?
Because it sounds to me as though you don't think it's here. You think
No, I do. I do
Oh,
think, and I'm actually no, but I just like to be a scientist maybe and just figure out how does this whole form thing work out. And,
okay.
but I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Peter Holm, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes,
Peter?
hello.
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 Hello, Peter.
Hello. I think all this question answering is purpose is to clarify things. And then again, this clarification will not get us anywhere. And you can say there's nowhere to get. All right.
No, it's a vehicle.
Well, okay. I have a kind of a paradoxical question. Now that nothing seems to facilitate this collapse of the me, how come it is so seemingly rare a phenomenon?
No, it doesn't facilitate. Nothing facilitates anything. And it isn't a rare phenomenon. It's actually what is, it's what is all the time. There is only that. But all that gets in the way of it is the idea that it hasn't happened to you. But actually there is already wholeness. There is only wholeness. And within that wholeness arises someone who believes they have to try and find wholeness.
Okay. Would you say that your message has absolutely nothing to do with what is normally called the spirituality?
Absolutely nothing. No, it's completely unspiritual. Okay. It's very, very unspiritual.
Now, let's say a person steps into this without knowing what is that. Can you be scared by this because it is completely unexpected?
Yes.
Can you be scared if such a thing happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, you might be scared if you move into this arena and you've never heard this sort of talking before. That's one possibility. The other thing is you as an individual, you would be scared of the idea of not being there anymore. Okay, so this message is scary in that way. But when the illusion of you not being there isn't there anymore, there's nothing to be scared because there's nothing left. There isn't a someone, there's nothing left. When the illusion of there being someone collapses, all there is no thing apparently happening. So there isn't anyone or anything that would be scared in that.
Okay. A last question. When this collapse has happened, will there still be desires beyond those of basic needs like clothes, food, shelter? Do you still want a Ferrari?
And sex. Yeah, and sex. There could be, well, yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a Ferrari or not. It doesn't make any difference to anything. The other thing is, let's be clear that everything happens, like fear or desire, all those things happen, but for no one. They are no thing apparently happening. And there isn't anything any longer invested in them. They may or may not happen. And if they do or don't, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters because everything is fulfilled already. There is no longer any need.
But most people, as you say, we long for something, and that longing is often expressed in a longing for love or loving for sex, because it gives a feeling of something greater. But
Well,
after the collapse, one should logically say one does not long for all these expressions. You could call it sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
no, there's no need anymore. I did
No
say
need.
that.
Yeah.
That's the end of need.
Mm.
And sex might arise, or even rock and roll, or even a Ferrari,
Okay.
but it no longer matters.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elena, Elena, would you like to
Ellen.
unmute yourself and ask your question? Elena?
Yes, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
You need to speak up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can.
I have two questions. Who hates me? Who wants this to be over?
Me. Next question. Me wants to end seeking. It seeks to end seeking. It never can, because it makes seeking a thing that it can find. That's the futility of all seeking.
Yeah, I knew this answer. I was thinking I will get
yeah.
another thing. And a lot of people spoke like you. How come nothing can speak the same through, I don't know, 5, 6 people?
Well, there are other speakers. There are other people. Well, there are other communicators that communicate out of no thing. There are just a few. And then there are a lot of people who offer some sort of therapy, or they say that they can teach you how to become non-dual. They're teachers. This is not a teaching.
Yeah, but the question was different. Why other people can speak like you?
Because they are no thing speaking. They're not speaking like me. They are just using that language. As I say, there are a few people that are communicating this message. So it sounds similar. It's in their own character or style, but they're coming out of no thing.
Because sometimes I'm thinking if it's not a learned process.
Oh no, this isn't learned. It's not taught, it's not learned. It suddenly is. So it isn't anybody communicating in a similar way. It's simply communication out of no thing. That's all it is. That's the difference between this and a teaching. You can go on YouTube and find hundreds of people who teach meditation or psychotherapy or whatever you like, and they're all doing their own thing, but it's coming from their own particular experience and their knowledge. This comes from nothing. This is a communication out of nothing.
Oh. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Do that.
Right, Nava. Nava,
Right.
would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering about how, like, you said that the me kind of like takes ownership, and like everything is very random, but like at a young age we start like saying, oh, these are my thoughts, or oh, this is my body or something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But like before that, I feel like everything was completely random and nobody really like had an attachment to anything.
At a very early age, for the first year or two, there is no one. And then
yeah, and you talk about how you feel bound by your skin. You feel like you're only this skin, but after you die, you're beyond your skin, and you're like kind of how you were when you were a baby or something.
Well, you're talking about real death now, aren't you? When you die, there is only wholeness. There is
Yeah.
everything and nothing. It's awakening. It's the end of that which is trying to awake.
Mhm.
And there just is everything and nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you. Sorry.
So now there's another question from somebody who'd like me to read it out, Tony.
Yeah,
She says, I know you've said that there is no one to be enlightened, but for years now, listening to you, my body is showing signs of activity which can't be explained in a rational nor medical way. So is it possible, though it has nothing to do with the person, an energetic physical change is still necessary, but not in a personal, but general way?
no, nothing is necessary. It's possible that the body can be affected by this sort of energy, which is very freeing, but it isn't important. There is nothing that needs to happen for that which already is. Don't forget, you don't become enlightened. There is only enlightenment already. There is only oneness. And what you are is that energy arising as a contracted energy, looking for that boundlessness. But actually all there is the boundlessness already. So there's nothing that needs to happen, obviously, because already there is only boundlessness.
Now we have a question from Gary, who'd like me to ask it too. What happens to the me awareness after the physical body dies?
Well, it ends. It's the death of the body is simply the end. Well, is alongside other things, the end of the illusion of there being a me, because the functioning of the me is function through the brain, and that functioning ceases when the body stops working, and it's simply, as I said, an awakening into the awakening into nothing and everything, which is indescribable and can't be known. It can happen at death, always happens at death, or what we call death, always happens, but it can also happen in the living body. It's the same thing. The death of you.
Okay, now I've got a question from Gabor. Gabor Gzap, would you like to ask your question? Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, Gabor.
Hello, hi Tony. So I just want to share some recent experience that I have in life. That recently I feel like my life goes with some ease, with some easiness, but also sometimes I can really see that how I try to manipulate or fix, or how I try to manipulate life. And then also when I see this, probably because I have this many spiritual knowledge, I feel some sadness as well, because I try to manipulate life. So I just wanted to share this. Maybe you have something
Okay,
to
thank you.
say.
Okay, you never will. You can't manipulate life because there isn't anyone.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Now we have Yasmin. So Yasmin, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, Tony.
Hiya.
Hi there. I wanted to ask you a question, if I imagine it right or understand it right, that in a way you are just total presence without any, how do you say, likes or dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
is it to understand that you have no, it doesn't matter, like no preferences?
well, there are preferences built into the character before birth in the DNA. There are certain preferences built in, but they're not mine because there is no me here. There is no one here. There's no need. So there's not one thing or another that matters in that sense as there was before. But yeah, there are preferences that arise, but it wouldn't matter if they weren't fulfilled.
Okay, so you have no judgment at all over whatever.
Oh, no, I didn't
is
say
happening.
judgment. There can be a judgment that can arise about marmalade or a better car or whatever, but that's still, that's got nothing to do with me. That's simply a judgment about the quality of something.
And then you don't get stuck in it.
No, you don't get stuck in anything. There isn't anybody in a story anymore. There's only what apparently happens. So buying better marmalade might happen, or buying worse marmalade might happen, but there's nobody doing it.
So it's including everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also everything that makes us or me suffer or whatever.
Well, there
it-
isn't,
or
none of that comes
seemingly.
up anymore because it's the end of the story. There is no me left. All there is no thing apparently happening. All that's left is no thing apparently happening. There isn't anyone.
So it's always only the me that can actually suffer.
Well, the me suffers, but there can be suffering arising, which has got nothing to do with me. But if suffering is arising, that is no thing apparently happening.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you again.
Yeah, and you. Where she's on.
I left my video off.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So now there's another question that wants to be read out, apparently. So the question is, what and how can you explain God
Oh,
existing in relationship to awareness? Are we, as we are nothing and part of the universe, and God is part of nothing awareness? Can you please clarify?
okay, there is no God except in the dream. In the dream of me, which is that I am a real person, there can be a relationship with something called God. It's all part of the illusion. There is no God. There's nothing in that way to relate to. There are, in the end, when the individual collapses out of the dream of dualism, there is no relationship. There's no one to relate to. All there is what is apparently happening. Now I can't remember the rest. It was quite a long.
You want me to read
question.
it again?
Yeah, okay.
As we are nothing and part of the universe, and God is part of nothing awareness. Please clarify.
Okay, so we aren't part of the universe. We are everything and nothing. So there isn't, when the illusion of duality drops away, in which we are part of the world, all that's left is nothing being everything. So there's no longer something that is a part of everything. There is only no thing being everything. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but when the illusion of separation collapses, there is only nothing being everything, apparently.
Geraldine, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, yeah.
Great. Tony, I've been listening to you for quite a while. I've been to one of the retreats in Germany, and I feel like, you know, I've been listening to that message for quite a long time. And is it possible that that's what's meant to be? I hear the message, but that's it.
No, there's nothing that's meant to be at all. That sounds like a sort of spiritual thing. This is meant to be, and that's meant to be, and this is not meant to be, and that's not meant to be. Everything is simply what it is. And in some way or other, it may be that you're listening too much to the information that's coming out of these meetings and not sensing something else that also comes with the information. There's something else going on as you and I speak, which is beyond the words that are being used. It's this. It's an energy. It's a sense of something else that is beyond the information. Don't listen too much to the information or the words or the answers, because the answers will never bring you anything. They are simply a vehicle, something else to happen that's beyond knowing. It's this. I know, it's so simple. It's so simple that people just don't, there's no sense of it. When I say this, people look for some, or to feel some vibration or something. It simply isn't that. It's the ordinariness of sitting on a seat. But nobody's sitting on the seat. It's what's happening. Sitting on the seat is what's apparently happening. That's it, man. That's it. Everybody listening to this message is sitting on a seat.
Mm.
That's the beloved. There's the beloved.
Then I tend to look beyond what you're saying, indeed.
That's all right. That's okay. I think for most people it's too simple. They want something more magical or complicated. I mean,
Yeah,
what,
probably more magical.
I've been searching all these years, and there's this guy saying it's you sitting on a seat. How dare you say it's only that? But strange enough, that's where the beloved is. It's hiding behind ordinariness, and it is ordinariness.
How about those thoughts?
Thoughts are also the beloved. Thoughts are what's happening. Thoughts are no thing happening as thoughts. Sitting on a seat is no thing in the form of sitting on a seat. It's no thing sitting on a seat. It's no thing sitting on no thing. Now what the mind now wants to do is complicate it and think of all sorts of questions that arise.
But when you said that thoughts are also no thing, yeah, there was probably a fraction of a second of.
Okay, good. Energy's happening. Energy's working. You're going to die soon.
Well, hopefully. Well, I've lost hope of it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Very much.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Tony.
Thank you.
Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you.
Tony, Tony, Tony,
Bye,
Tony.
Claire and Tony. Bye.
Bye, Claire. Tony.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Looking.
Tschüss, Roland.
Love you.
Tschüss, Roland.
Tschüss, Roland.
Bye bye.